During the Clone Wars, the Confederacy of Independent Systems produced many powerful droid types to use against the Republic, but very few ever came close to the power and advancement of the IG-100 MagnaGuard. The MagnaGuards were the droids always seen by the side of one General Grievous. They had in fact been manufactured at his request and to his exact specifications. Unlike other Separatist droid units, the MagnaGuards were under the exclusive jurisdiction of Grievous and of Dooku. While destroyer droids were feared by all ground units of the Republic, the MagnaGuards were specifically feared by the Jedi. As the personal bodyguards and agents of Grievous, they made themselves a scourge to the Order for the entirety of the 3-year-long war. So what was it about the IG-100s that made the Jedi fear them more than any other droid in perhaps galactic history? Well, join us today, Acolytes, as we analyze the team known as Grievous's Elite, attempting to break down how they were known for being the deadliest droids to employ against Jedi. The IG-100 got its start prior to the Clone Wars, when General Grievous desired bodyguards that would match his extremely high standards. Grievous was impatient with average droids due to their many limitations, including movement restrictions and limited artificial intelligence. So Dooku commissioned a company known as Holowan Mechanicals to develop a cutting-edge warrior droid that would satisfy every specification of the cyborg general. Each MagnaGuard cost a whopping 90,000 credits, well over 4 times the cost of a droideka. Destroyer droids themselves were already considered one of the most expensive units in the entire Separatist army, costing 21,000 credits each. And for overall reference, the standard B1 battle droid was only 1,800 credits. But the giant 90 grand price tag on the MagnaGuard was put to good use, as they were some of the most advanced battle droid units that were ever created, not just in the Clone Wars, but in the galaxy as a whole. And today, we're going to break down why they were so underrated and feared by the Jedi Knight. Greetings, lore junkies, and welcome back to the archives. Today we're taking a break from the Jedi and Sith, and we'll be focusing on the droids. The MagnaGuards were built specifically with fighting Jedi in mind, so their height was a powerful 6 feet 5 inches, or roughly 2 meters. Their enhanced anatomy was engineered to allow supernatural acrobatics, speed, and combat reaction timing. And as we'll learn later, these systems were capable of keeping up with, and even overwhelming, experienced Jedi. This was because they were built after Grievous was. And since Grievous's design was so successful, Holowan was able to use the research to make these droids more dangerous than ever, designed after him. Their computer systems were outfitted with advanced combat learning programs that allowed them to not only adapt to their enemy, but also learn a variety of tasks. This included mastery of various types of melee weaponry, from electrostaffs to vibroswords and ranged combat, and even to starfighter controls. According to the novel Labyrinth of Evil, the MagnaGuards shared Grievous's mental programming, making them adaptive and aggressive fighters. Their entire design was fully optimized to fight and to kill Jedi. The physicality and adaptive computers were only the beginning though. Their bodies were built to withstand a massive loss of structural integrity before total system failure was inactive. The MagnaGuards did not stop when dismembered, they did not stop when beheaded, they did not even stop when bisected. This is all due to the fact that even if they lost the head, each droid had a photoreceptor and a mental system in their chest cavity. To fully stop one of these monstrous droids, a Jedi would either have to stab them in this very precise location, or they would have to be totally hacked to pieces. And when dealing with the IGs, a Jedi couldn't simply score them with their weapon and hope for the best. Their armor was made from duranium. Duranium is a high tensile alloy that was capable of withstanding a glancing blow from even a lightsaber blade. When they were completed, Grievous was greatly pleased with the initial designs when he met his new guards, but he wouldn't just be taking them fresh off the conveyor belt. What truly makes the MagnaGuards terrifying is not their anatomical superiority, or even their scarily adaptive combat programming. What makes them absolutely terrifying is that Grievous trained them himself. Unlike other droids which are simply given pre-programmed instructions and objectives, Grievous actually took the time to train with the IG-100s, treating them as actual warriors. As Dooku taught Grievous the 7 forms of lightsaber combat, Grievous turned around and taught the same thing to his MagnaGuards. This made them very familiar with all of the fighting tactics of the Jedi, and Grievous did not take it easy on them either. Many of the IG-100s that are a part of Grievous's personal elite are seen with battle scars and even broken eyes. These are all marks that they got from training with Grievous, and they learned from each of their injuries. Grievous would not allow any minor repairs to be made to the droids, believing that their numerous scrapes and battle scars made them more intimidating to their foes. Speaking of Grievous's elite, The name that he had given them went far beyond labeling them as the best. His own guards paid homage to Grievous's past as a Kalish warrior. Before he was a cyborg, Grievous was known as Kaimain Jai Shilal, a warlord from the planet of Kali. His people were at war with an insectoid species that they called the Huck. Kaimain was a warrior so skilled that his people thought of him as a demigod, and with him, he had a female companion by the name of Ronderu Lichkumar, whom he fought and triumphed in many battles with. However, Ronderu would perish in one battle, which sent Kaimain into a deep depression and a vengeful grief. He then renamed himself Grievous, and declared that his grief for his lover would never end. This is when the Kalish demigod gathered a group of his finest warriors, men that had proven themselves time and time again in the generations-long war with the Huck. Grievous called them his Izvashra, which simply meant my elite in Kalish. Each warrior was an almost unbeatable fighter and an hyper-intelligent commander. Grievous would take the Izvashra through a destructive campaign against the Huck that nearly saw the extinction of the entire insectoid species. But fast forwarding to the present day, when almost all of the Izvashra were dead, Grievous would create a new elite in their honor. This legacy was embodied by the MagnaGuards, which is why the cyborg had such high expectations for them. In honor of his warrior elite, all of Grievous's guards wore tattered cloaks and head wraps, all of it evocative of the old Kalish warriors. Some were even said to have sported muumuu markings on their cloaks, matching those of Grievous's mask. The muumuu were a species of large tusked beasts native to the wild space planet of Kali. Kalish would slay them with the Shawnee spears, doing so in ritualistic combat to prove their worth as a warrior. Often this was a sacred rite of passage, and the warrior would wear the muumuu skulls as masks following. Grievous's own faceplate was modeled after his own muumuu mask. This gave the IG-100 MagnaGuards and his company an even deeper connection to the droid general's history. Grievous though had become such a slimy cretin during his years as a cyborg, but he kept around him mementos of what he had once been. Perhaps all of the reminders from his elite made him feel like he was still somewhat the honorable and powerful warrior that he had once been in a different life. Every single one of these modifications and tweaks paid off, because when the MagnaGuards made their debut, they quickly became enemy number one on the Jedi Order's radar. The droids were first used in battle during the combat of the Battle of Perrine II. Here, one of the MagnaGuards killed a Jedi by the name of Sainin and thrusted his electrostaff through the Jedi's throat. Since then, they were pretty much a staple of Grievous's presence. Anywhere that he went, the MagnaGuards followed. Grievous enjoyed utilizing his guards in terrible, horrific fashion, oftentimes using them to torture or capture Jedi. Grievous would engage Jedi, and then have the MagnaGuards surround them while he was dueling them. He did this in order to capture the Jedi Eth Koth, and in the lair of Grievous, when he was beaten back by Kit Fisto, he also had his elite arrive as backup to save him. Singular MagnaGuards usually aren't too bad of a threat to a skilled Jedi, but it's when they group up that they become deadly to even Jedi Masters on high levels. In a pack, they become lethal enemies that can easily overwhelm even a skilled warrior, hence why Kit Fisto ultimately decided to retreat. During the Battle of Coruscant, Grievous's elite engaged Master Shakti in the subway tunnels of the city. Despite how skilled of a Jedi warrior she was, even she was having to use considerable effort to fend off the many droids. The Jedi Master managed to destroy a few of them, but had to use one of their own weapons in tandem with her own lightsaber in order to fend off the rest. And even then, she didn't manage to defeat them outright. She was only able to escape when they received orders to back off. Count Dooku himself would even steal Grievous's tactic by having them surround Anakin Skywalker during one of their duels, a huge compliment to the efficiency of the droids. Anakin was overpowered by the MagnaGuards when they interfered with the duel and attacked him from all sides. As powerful of a warrior as Anakin was by this point, even he was unable to stand against the combined strength of a Sith and the guards. But their electronic shocks only served to increase Skywalker's anger, allowing him to blow them backwards with a force repulse. However, it was after this duel that Anakin learned how to deal with the MagnaGuards. The next time he saw Dooku, which was on Naboo, Anakin was able to handily defeat the IG-100s with relative ease, going so far as to manhandle one of them with his cybernetic hand. This of course would be around the time when Anakin and Obi-Wan got used to fighting this type of droid, since they engaged with Dooku and Grievous more than any other Jedi in the entire war. On the Bridge of the Invisible Hand, they were able to prove their skill and experience by quickly shredding Grievous's guards, and although it took them a few seconds longer than most enemies, they put down the MagnaGuards and had plenty of energy to take on Grievous afterwards. Anakin himself managed to destroy his opponent with a single precise hit. And there you have it, the MagnaGuards, the droids that all Jedi feared during the Clone Wars, and how they had a surprisingly deep connection with Grievous's past. But tell us guys, out of all of the droids in the CIS, which one would you say is your favorite? Also, if you're interested in more droid breakdowns, be sure to let us know in the comments down below what other droids you would like to see analyzed. As always, we greatly appreciate you guys showing support for the channel, and may the Force be with you.